Ooh. And we're here.
And we're back. Woo! Woo! 2018. It's been a great year so far, everybody.
2016, by the way. 2016. It's 2016.
It's what?
Well, I feel like it's like
1995.
God.
Welcome back to the New Year's first episode of Crit Happens, where we're talking about D&D and other gaming things and pretty much really whatever we want to talk about that week. This week, I'm the host, Jackie Rapport. I'm the best. Why don't we go around, because it's been a moment, and introduce ourselves, starting with...
Me.
Yes.
God. I am Nick Kilgore, and I am here far too often. But I'm back again.
Shut your face.
Okay. And I'm the best. Go.
My name is Brendan McNellis. I am occasionally on this crazy train of a podcast.
All aboard.
Can we even call it a podcast?
No, technically not yet, but there's one person who's at fault for it not being called a podcast yet.
It's
so.
not even a train. It's like half a wagon.
It's a bus.
Oh.
We're
Okay.
gonna throw us in the
Regardless
bus again.
of the vehicle, it is crazy. And I don't know, I enjoy coming on. I talk about homebrew stuff, and I DM a lot, so I tend to have a different perspective than most people who often play more than they DM.
Cool. I'm Anna Shekel. Still don't know what I'm talking about. It's been a whole year now playing D&D, and I have no clue what's happening. So if you are also a novice who doesn't know what's happening, there you go. Instant relatability. Sorry, I'm trying to...
Yeah, you kind of faded out there.
Yeah, I can't hear myself.
That's cool.
Okay, well, I can hear myself.
Yeah, so I guess it's...
That's what's
We're all
important, right?
twos here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's been a hot moment. And the music's too loud.
Yes, the music is way too loud.
Well, we forgot how to do a radio show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's been a moment.
If you want to call in and tell us how to do a radio show, I think
Actually, the number is 973-408-4567, and you are actually allowed to call into that, and we'll answer the phone or hang up on you if your name is Keith.
Yeah, come on, Keith.
Keith, come on,
God, Keith.
Keith.
This
Okay.
is a great start.
Yeah, this is a great start. So it has been a hot moment since I played D&D. I ran a campaign on New Year's with a bunch of people that didn't play D&D, and it went really well.
It was super fun.
But what I want to talk about this week is combat, because I hate it.
Okay,
Just
fair
unbiased
point.
opinion straight off the
Fair enough.
I hate running combat
Why?
because it's really boring.
It's boring if you're a boring DM.
Oh.
Ooh.
bat. Wow.
No, I think it's super... Well, here's the thing. I like running combat with purpose, but, like, getting myself to, like, run, like, grinding combat.
So levels
really-
1 through 3,
Yeah, I usually just don't start it.
start them at level 3.
I mean, I start them at level, like, 4 or 5.
Okay, so then what problems do you have then?
I don't like running combat.
You don't like running combat for level 5 characters?
Not really.
Are you kidding me?
I think
No.
I wish everyone could see the look on my face right now.
Imagine an angry
School
bird.
me. School me, Brendan.
Okay, look.
Tell me about why everything I do is wrong.
I hope I don't come off that way.
No.
But
But here are the reasons why.
yes, but here are the reasons why you're wrong. First off, if you're the DM and you're bored running any aspect of a campaign that you have sole creation of, you need to take a long look in a mirror and a long look at your word processor, and you need to actually buckle down and do some actual writing. You need to create some compelling storylines, and there's no reason why a role-playing interaction, a social role-playing interaction, shouldn't be as dramatic as combat. Combat should be almost more dramatic in that sense.
I know. I like running, like, heavy RP-based campaigns, and, like, occasionally... There's been, like, one instance where I ran, like, this boss session that was just all combat, and it went super, super well. But I think I struggle a lot with running combat for players that really don't know how to play, because I feel like I can't necessarily throw big, like, monsters at them or big beasts or whatever, because they don't know what they're doing.
Okay, so typically your players are unfamiliar with their characters. Are they unfamiliar with the 5e rule set? Are they unfamiliar?
Yes.
So they're unfamiliar with all of it.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Well then, again, to contradict myself already 5 minutes into this podcast, why don't you have them run levels 1 through 3? So then they learn the rules of combat, and they learn what their characters can do.
1 through 3 is so boring.
It's not boring. You can clear them on level 1 to level 2 in a session. It's 300 experience points.
I know, but it's so boring.
It's one swarm of bats. Okay? That's what we're talking about right now.
I like that you just
The
knew
swarm
that
of bats,
off the top of your
alright?
head.
It's probably inaccurate, and that phone will ring in 2 seconds. Be like, actually, swarm of bats is 75 XP. I have it right here. And
So it's more like 7 swarm of
it's more like
bats.
7 swarm of bats, but if there are 5 players, you have to divide that between the experience between the 5 players. So actually, yeah. So, but seriously, like, if that's your if you legitimately have that much of a disdain for combat, you should not. If I was a fighter in your campaign and you ran a social RP campaign and I was unaware that it would be that, I would be bored half to death.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
Right, because
100%.
my whole class it's called a fighter. I want to fight,
Not
right?
a role
It's
player.
just combat's so boring.
Until, but you have to make it like so the characters want to fight, and that you want to have them fight.
And-
Like, you know, story.
Yeah, Nick, you want to
man.
school me on how to be a DM?
Yeah, I'm right.
Have you ever DM'd before, Nicholas? I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, the,
Let me just, let me
the
just-
condescension in that question
God.
is so loaded.
God.
I think like overall I do an okay job at like having combat. I don't know.
So how do you narrate combat?
What do you mean?
I think combat narration is one, if not the most important part of it.
I would say you narrate combat little to none until the person dies.
I know. I get really bored.
Truesies.
So
Jackie's like, okay, they take 10 points of damage.
I
next
also,
hit.
to be fair, I've also only been playing D&D for like a year, 2 years, and I've only run a game with Kevin Fisher.
Jackie, I'm gonna send you a podcast on D&D, and you're gonna listen to it. It's gonna
Am
be
I?
cool.
Am I
Yeah.
gonna listen
is
to
it a
No.
podcast where they can send their podcast out from where they record it and
Yeah, it's
massively
on,
distribute
the
it to
podcast
Wow,
app on
this
iTunes.
has been a great
Can you ask them
episode.
how they export their podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could you call in actually to the radio show if you know how to
Yeah,
export
what time is it in
podcast?
Australia?
Time to answer some questions.
You know, I thought we were gonna have a serious discussion about this instead of
again.
me just getting shit on. So this is great. This is
Well,
great.
this is the avenue we have to take to have a serious
God.
discussion. We're
Okay,
going to take
wait, okay, I think that there's been a select few times in which I've run combat. Okay, I'm not saying that I do it all the time because I hate combat.
So, if I'm a player, if there's a player in my game
Yes.
and he is a ranger, 99% of the time, his most optimal, best way to play his character, which he probably will, is to make a ranged attack. Rangers have, especially with Giant Slayer or whatever, they get the extra beast.
Oh no, it's
Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
Giant Slayer, whatever it's called.
Whatever the hell.
And basically, that's the best way to play their character. So if a ranger comes up to me and is like, okay, I'm going to make a long ranged attack with my longbow at this creature, you could say, okay, roll an attack. You hit. Okay, you do how much damage? Okay, you do 9 damage. Next person in combat. Or, you know, the character's name is Fandel. Fandel pulls and feels the strain on his bow as he tucks it back against his cheek and unleashes it. You lose sight of it for a second and it plants itself in the shoulder of the creature, right? You gotta
Yeah,
actually
no,
bring the attention and drama to the whole interaction, and every single person's turn should feel that specific and that detailed.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue is that there's been times where I'm running a campaign for at the store I ran a campaign for like 15 people.
Okay, so there is
God.
I think we discussed this the last time, and I had the same look on my face that I do right now. What are you doing?
There's a lot of people at the store, and there were
5.
3 DMs.
5.
When you try to make everyone happy all of the time, no one is happy any of the time. If you try to make
Words of
everyone happy, no one's going to be happy. No one's going to feel like every person should come away from a D&D session. I ask the same thing as a DM, and when I run a one shot for you guys, I will ask you the same question at the end. Did everyone have fun? And I can tell within half a second if people
Yeah.
are bullshitting me or not. And every single person has to have their moment. And if someone is a fighter in your group and you choose not to do combat in one 3-4 hour session of D&D, they're going to be pissed the fuck off.
Trademark, Brendan McNellis. What are you laughing about,
Goose
Nicholas?
sent me a text. Goose is currently listening.
Hi, Goose.
He says, "Is this the shit on Jackie segment?" Yes, it's now.
Has he listened to the pod before?
No, this is first
Yeah,
time.
no, I thought he has listened.
Just tell
Chris,
him.
you liar.
Chris?
You lie like a rug, Chris.
Oh my God,
Wow.
Goose.
Ooh, burn. What were you saying?
If Goose really wants to know the shit on Jackie segment, he should just live every day of my life.
That's fair.
So how would you suggest? Okay, so when you go about planning, like, you've run campaigns before?
I've run full campaigns. I
Yeah.
just finished running the one that I wrote in its entirety. So I wrote the entire world. I created all the continents and characters and everything.
So how do you go about planning your combat sessions? Because I know that when I flesh my combat sessions out, like fully, completely flesh them out, like with every single differing HP for every single one of my...
Right.
It runs 10 times smoother, but it takes forever. So I don't know...
You have to work smarter, not harder. So it's one of those things where is there a bunch of goblins and a goblin chief? You do an initiative for all the goblins that are grunts, and you do an initiative for the goblin chief. And you basically can do all types of crazy stuff with that. So the goblin chief has like a bard-like effect. He has like a little like terrible looking like goblin instrument that he can play, and he like inspire his group and like make them enraged or whatever it might be, right? And then you can flavor that and do all different things with that. I'm just spitballing, but it's like that's taking something where it'd be like, okay, you guys fight 10 goblins, here they come. Like, right? Like you could take something that's very basic if you want to treat it that way, or you can make it something really meaningful. And the other thing is you should always give your party the illusion that they don't have to fight.
Yeah, I do that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So we're cooking now. We're cooking with gas.
My party doesn't like to fight.
Not
you, not the one you're in. The campaign that I ran last year, they talked themselves out of every single fight. Every single one. Tyler's.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's true, but I also think it changes from campaign to campaign. Or from group to group, you know?
That's fair.
I mean, it was really fun because we had a number of really charismatic people in the group that we played with last year. I think that this year it's a little bit different, you know? We have people like Richard. And
Richard loves combat.
We have people like Richard.
Nicholas loves combat.
And Nick.
Not love.
And I think that now that we understand our characters, or really understand what it's like to make a character that we like, combat is more exciting.
Also, to be fair, last semester it was really hard to run combat with
Talking to the mic.
specific people that were in the group.
Okay.
Because they... Yes. Anyway.
So look,
we had a whole episode on that.
yeah. Every D&D campaign session that I've ever ran has had a social interaction, RP challenge, skill challenge, and combat. Every single one.
Every single one.
No exceptions. Because I have people in my group that are barbarians, that are fighters. Watch Critical Role Season 1, any episode where there's a shopping episode, and watch
Travis.
how miserable Travis looks.
Yeah.
Just sitting there doing
He gets
nothing.
so angry.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should.
I get it. I'm asking for help.
So, find ways to incorporate combat. Are they traveling for an extended period of time? Roll a random encounter table before your session. So you roll the random encounter table before your session, and it comes up as, I don't know, an Allosaurus. Okay? That's happened to me before. So then, is it like Chult, right? This area that just got released with Tomb of Annihilation. A lot of people were not a big fan of Chult.
No, I like the concept of it. It's just hard as balls.
It's very hard. Like Tomb of Annihilation, if you run that, you are a mean DM. Like you're not intended to make it out of Tomb of Annihilation, hence the name. But anyway, if it's an Allosaurus, you could have a badass warrior Allosaurus rider, right? And he is a bounty hunter, right? Or you do it on a super narrow bridge in this forest. That is the only way you can cross over the river. And the Allosaurus rider just roams around there, waits for people to get stuck in the middle, and then either takes their money and lets them cross, or attacks and kills them, right? So roll an random encounter table before you get to your session, and kind of flesh out, if they're traveling for an extended period of time, a meaningful combat encounter. Always incorporate the terrain. whenever you're designing a combat encounter. Good combat encounters have flavor, terrain, like a terrain element somehow, and meaningful non-grunt enemies. If you can do all those 3 things and check all those 3 boxes and narrate every turn of combat like it's the last turn the player will ever have, every single person in your party at the end, you'll look in their eyes when you say, hey, did you have fun? And even the fighter, the barbarian, will be like, yes, that was fucking awesome.
Hey, some people who are listening want to know the number to call in.
Do it.
973-408-4567 Goose.
973-408-4567.
4567.
Wow.
This is WMNJ Radio.
3 easy payments of $19.95.
This is W&J Radio, the
Hi.
wave.
Also, hi Keith. I know you're listening. Thank you. Keith is my best friend from the comic book store. Oh, good.
Oh,
God.
wonder who that
God.
is.
Okay, excuse me.
If it's Keith,
Hello. This is WMNJ Radio. Who is this?
New phone, who dis?
Goose,
Hi,
you
Goose.
have to speak more clearly
Yeah.
because no one can understand what
Goose,
you're
you
saying.
sound like you're underwater, bro.
Wow, dead
Well,
goose.
I'm also on speakerphone doing a quiz.
Don't take yourself off speakerphone.
Hello?
Yeah,
That's
oh,
so
a
much
lot
better. So much better.
What's up, Goose?
Wow, there's such a lag between the phone call and the actual show.
Do you want to ask a question or are you just calling to be a dick?
Or calling in to hear
Go on,
yourself.
good Dick.
Okay, goodbye, Goose.
bye.
Wait.
What?
You know what? Never mind, I don't have a question yet.
Okay.
Okay, so get to the question, Goose.
What?
I'll call with a question later.
Okay.
Okay, bye,
All right,
Goose.
all right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Goose.
This is
Solid.
pretty
Goose is the worst.
Shout-outs to Goose. That was a great first attempt at a phone call to a radio station.
Also,
That was a
that
critical.
is Goose 100% of the time.
That's just Chris.
Great kid, though. Love you, Goose.
No, I'm just kidding. LOL, JK. I can barely hear you,
I can barely hear
so
me.
you're gonna have to.
Oh, that is
Eat
right
it.
on my face.
Yep.
There you go.
Feminism.
Get that pop
Um,
filter.
How's writing your campaign going, Nicholas?
I haven't touched it in a little bit, but I'm enjoying it.
Brendan, do you think it's a good idea to write out your entire campaign
Now,
before it even starts?
someone's exaggerating.
That's what you said to me the other day.
It's always, well, it depends on what kind of campaign you're trying to do. Are you trying to give your players true choice, or you're trying to present the illusion of choice?
True choice.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So those are harder to write, and in the case of true choice, true like sandbox campaign, yes, you have to write so much, because again, if you're going to really do it and really give them the freedom to do whatever they want, you need to have a fleshed out enough reality and world and cities and roads to the cities and ports and where what the seas are called, what are the days called, what are the months called.
Yep.
There's all these little things that they're going to poke holes in real quick if you don't have a system and a ton of stuff written beforehand. Like when I wrote a campaign once, one of my initial ones, and they're like, what day is it? I was like, what? Yeah, like, what day of the week is it?
Dudes.
Yeah, Wednesday, my dudes. Shout out to the memes out there. But
How far we've fallen.
yeah, this got off the rails pretty quick.
Wow, thanks, Goose.
What was I saying?
Yeah, Goose, this is your fault.
Dick.
Oh, writing.
Yeah.
I'm in full-fledged support of his decision to write a ton, especially with the campaign he's intended to do.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, if you're presenting the illusion of choice, if you're more of a railroady, and especially if you're a beginner DM, or if you're not real comfortable writing, railroad-ish. Railroad is a rough term to use in D&D,
Yeah.
but like giving the illusion of choice.
Both paths lead to the same
Right,
place. Yeah.
right. That you really only need to write the first 3 or 4 sessions. And I've done both. I'm not afraid to admit I've done both. But
Sames.
but it's something where if you don't write it, the worst case out of all of them is not writing enough for a true sandbox game. That is the worst case. Because they will absolutely destroy your reality, like destroy the like depth of your world within a session or two. If you aren't prepared.
That's why. So the world I'm building at the moment is a city right now. I'm forgetting the name of it. It does have a name. I just haven't looked at it.
To be fair, the name of the city in my newest campaign that I'm the most proud of was called Seporta, because it was a seaport. So you really don't have to be
That's awesome.
You really don't have to be
10 out
that
of 10.
creative.
Yeah. Did they mine for unobtainium there?
No, they didn't. But I don't think any of them ever made that connection. So if any of them are listening, Supporta is called that because it's a seaport.
OMG. Yeah. So I'm writing these things. I'm like, oh, there's 17 houses. Time to write a description of 17 houses. But I'm totally okay doing that because I love writing. So it's fun for me. But I'm like, I know I'm gonna fill this notebook, and then it's gonna take a while.
But
so.
at the same time, aren't you worried? Like, I know, like, when I plan for my sessions, I plan, like, as much as I need to plan because I know my party derails off of whatever I plan. So, like, I'll have a bunch of general things that I can pull from, like, descriptions of different buildings. So, like, oh, what does the tavern look like? I'm like, okay. Flips to a different page. This is what the tavern looks like. And I keep track of, like, every time I use something versus, like, setting everything specifically.
Yeah, it's...
So, like, I guess my question is, like, aren't you, like... I feel like... Are you worried at all that, like, you're going to do all this work and all this planning and then have your adventurers turn around and just go somewhere completely different?
No, I actually want them to do that. So I literally at the beginning, they can go down one of two paths. Like, if they choose to go down one, so they won't be able to go down the other. I'll make that in some way. But I'm still writing in depth each path super detailed because eventually they'll get back around to the other one. Because they have to get...
But then is that true choice, Nicholas?
Well, then I guess not.
That's the whole point. The whole point of illusion of choice is that it's indistinguishable from a choice-based campaign.
Then there you
Magic.
go. Then I'm
Bum,
doing it right.
Bum, bum.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with because
Yeah.
we've talked before about, like, the difference between, like, the three, like, planning/over plan, like, planning just enough, over planning, and then under planning, and how they all have their own flaws. So
Yeah, I don't mind putting a stupid amount of work in, and then people just be like, "We run down the middle of the street past all the shit." I'm like, all right, it's fine by me.
But you don't. A couple things. Where are you starting them?
They're gonna be waking up.
In a tavern.
No, they're gonna
Tavern
be
to the best.
on a broken,
In a brothel.
what do you call it, drawbridge.
Cool. I like it. So what is the initial tension?
They don't know who they are. Sorry, they do
Don't know who they are.
No,
Oh
they
my
do.
god.
That would be very
Amnesia.
hard. They do have partial amnesia.
Okay.
About
Digging.
why they're there. Eventually, I'm like gonna get like a timer going, like for 5 minutes, and it'll start coming back to them slowly that they know each other, and what they're supposed to be doing vaguely. But they'll pretty much be at like a huge gate, and against the gate is just like bodies and like parts of marketplace debris, and just like it pretty much like a marketplace got pushed in front of this massive gate, that's so much so that you can't open it.
Cool.
And you're on a drawbridge, there's a moat behind you, and
Love moats.
yeah, moats are fun.
Shout out to moats.
Fun stuff in
Hashtag
there.
moats.
Hashtag moats. What? Can we make that the official hashtag?
Hashtag moats. Oh.
Hashtag moats.
We've had goats and boats. Now we have moats. There it is.
Wow. Full circle.
yeah.
The illusion of choice.
And I'm gonna give them 3 ways to get into this city. There's gonna be a door in the left tower. It's like this gate, big gate, 2 towers, door in the left tower, door in the right tower,
Mhm.
and then a sewer gate underneath the drawbridge if they
Cool.
find that.
Awesome. Sounds detailed.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, just some different ways to get in, and then different shit. to do.
Sounds thorough. Sounds detailed. It also sounds like they'll probably find a way to fuck up everything
Yeah.
you have planned right away.
Yeah, what is the plan if they want to swim in the moat?
Yeah,
'Cause
we've
that was
talked
my
about
first
this,
idea.
yeah.
Moat gators.
Yeah, enemies. What do you call them? It starts with an M.
Moat gators.
Yeah.
Yeah, moat gators.
Hashtag moat gators.
Yeah,
Moat
they're
Gators
like-
2018.
They're like the,
2016.
they're like mermaids.
Merman. Mermen.
Barnacle
Mermaidia.
boy
Marrows.
and-
Yes.
Marrows. Merrow. Marrows.
Yes.
Great enemy. Great grunt enemy type. Great
Yeah.
pick.
I have a question for Brendan. This is totally off topic. What do you do when you hate your character and you're in a campaign?
Jump off a cliff.
Okay,
Pull a keyleth.
literally jump
Just
off.
fall off a cliff.
No, but like in all seriousness, how okay? So I'm stuck.
Talk to your DM.
Okay, but he doesn't care
If he doesn't care, then why can't you change your character?
because he's still alive.
So you go to your DM and you say, I have a new character. I'm going to play it. So my character is going to die horrifically this game, or kind of like
See,
Incredible Hulk, like do, like walk off into the distance.
Wow, Lou Ferrigno.
Because like I'm stuck in this like position in Kevin's game where I really like my character. He's awesome. He's super OP for no reason. Not anything that I did intentionally. I don't really have any magic items. I'm a druid. I'm just stronger than the rest of the party. And
Well, you're a level above us, too.
I do not. No, I'm not. Not anymore. We're all level 9s. The last time we played. Or level, whatever level I get. What the hell's it called?
Fly?
Elementals.
Oh,
Because I get fly.
Fly
I don't
was
know.
Fly
We're
was at
doing
8.
something.
Fly was at 8. I think you get elementals now.
Yeah. And I'm like it's fun, but I don't like I do the most damage in every round of combat, and I
Not
play-
to brag.
Well, no, I'm like I'm just
fucking with you.
I play the same way every single time. I pick the same spells because I don't really have. I feel like I don't have as much liberty to not pick. The
I'm
super
sorry, what
powerful-
class are you?
Druid.
Druid, okay, cool. Druids can be super broken.
Yeah.
Druid of the Moon? Circle
Yeah.
of the Moon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Druid of the Moon.
Druid of the Moon.
So I like pick Blight. I pick like what's the other one that I pick? It's some stupid.
Blight is awesome,
Yeah.
but not good against undead.
Shillelagh.
It's necrotic damage.
Oh, Moonbeam.
I think we've had a whole like 15-minute discussion about blight.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Blight's-
think with you.
Really? Me?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, because Jackie didn't know it did like plant damage.
I didn't know it did plant damage.
Oh, yeah. Anything plant-based, it just instantly kills them.
So I feel like I've been like stuck in this position where like the other players in the party get mad if I don't prepare certain spells for the day, and like I'll go off if we have a plan to split the party, which you should never do. I'll go off by myself and do just as much, if not more, damage than the party altogether. So I'm trying to kill myself.
Well,
but then everyone gets super mad at me.
Okay, as part of the party, here's my opinion. If you want to become different animals, if you want to do different stuff, that's awesome. But don't kill yourself, because you're also, as the most powerful player, there's obviously a certain amount of, I don't know, pressure upon you. So it doesn't frustrate me if you're like, instead of being a brown bear, I want to be, I don't know.
Snake.
Yeah, a snake. That's
Snake.
awesome. You do you. I get angry when you're like, oh no, I rolled a 6 when you really rolled a 16, and you're like, I guess I'm gonna die while we're in the middle of this boss battle, and now all of you are gonna die because I was your most useful person. So fuck you, everybody.
Okay.
That's when I get angry. That's when the rest of us get angry.
re-rolling or re-rolling.
Oh my god,
to get
yeah.
more.
When you're like, oh, I rolled an 18, should roll again, so I get something lower.
I don't
That's-
remember what I rolled.
That's when I get angry, because
I just want to
you
die.
only try
Why
to-
can't I just die?
Because first of all, you only try to die when we're in combat, which means that
that's the only time I can die.
no,
Let me die!
it's,
Just
A lot
don't
of
go into
people-
a tavern and drink yourself to death.
We're nowhere near anything else.
Then just bang your head against a tree.
just throw myself. I cast blight on myself.
Yeah.
Okay, look.
oh my god.
Brendan's gonna school me.
I'm
ready.
not. Almost every problem that arises in a D&D group, especially something as personal as like, I don't want to play this character anymore. If it's a DM worth his or her salt, just go up to them and be like, hey, I'm really like not enjoying playing this character anymore. Everyone's super reliant on me and gets upset with me if I don't do what they ask, and I play D&D to play a character that I want to play. So at the end of the day, I'm either going to Lou Ferrigno out of this campaign, and I have another character. This will be my last session for this character. You don't want to be like, I'm suddenly playing a new
Yeah.
character, right? So you just tell them, this is my last session as the character. And it's either going to happen in combat, naturally, me making some great sacrifice, something memorable, or I'm out. Like, I'm just going to walk out, or like I'm going to go on my own devices. I have a mission or something, and it's halfway across the continent, and my character is going to leave, and next week I'm going to play something else. And if the DM has any problem with that, you just be like, explain what you just explained right now to the whole party. The tension or whatever makes me feel uncomfortable, and I don't want to play it. And why would you spend 4 hours a weekend playing a character that you don't like?
Yeah.
So any problem like that can be solved by just communicating with the DM and explaining yourself. Just do it.
Yeah, Jackie, just do it.
Therapy with Brendan McNellis.
You're listening to WMNJ.
NPR.
ASMR.
Hashtag moats.
Hashtag moat.
Hashtag moat gators.
For promotion for this radio show, can we make moat totes?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I need
Yeah.
my Crit Happens mug.
You didn't bring
You
it.
have that?
Oh, shout out
Um,
to
Yeah, Maddie
Ross and Madison Shekel.
They got Anna's sister and her girlfriend got us mugs with both of our radio show things on it. So mine has the Crit Happens poster on it. It's pretty lit. Or I should bring
And
mine.
hers is the wolf, right? The wolf stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, you remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
We're all
wolves.
happy.
I like wolves, so I remember most wolf-related things.
Good. Yeah. Tomorrow. Shameless plug. Tomorrow from noon to 1. The Wolf Den.
Hope the schedule's open.
I don't know. If it isn't, then never mind. Not tomorrow. Next week.
Good.
All right. So have you come to peace with combat, and you now have some things you're going to try out?
Yes. I have to. I just my biggest thing with combat is like I don't like it, so I just have to sit down and plan it. Because when I sit down and plan it, it's so much better than if I just have half a plan, which is
Right.
what I like usually do. Because like improving like tavern stuff or like RP stuff, I have no issue with. Everything
Cool.
runs fine because I have like a folder with tons of things in it.
Cool.
But when it comes to combat, I need the structure for that because it's just too much to keep track of. How do you keep track of your initiatives? 'Cause
I do them at Mercer 25 to 20, 20 to 15,
yes.
15 to 10, 10 to 5,
But like, how do you keep track of like
written down on a page.
you do it like on a piece of paper, just like with pencil or whatever?
And then I write next to every single character. That's an NPC.
I do it on a whiteboard thing, like a white eraser
I don't know. I
thing.
can't see behind
Why are
the
you
screen.
laughing at me, Nicholas?
Because you're like,
So-
aw.
So here's a great way to do it. Do you have index cards and do you have a DM screen?
Yeah,
Do you have like clips or paper clips?
yeah.
You pass out all the index cards to your players next session.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to write on the front, the non-index card side, like the title side, they have to write their character name. Okay,
Mhm.
and they could draw a little and decorate it, whatever. But on the back is what you see. So you put them physically on your
Oh,
screens. This is
that's-
what I do. So you put them physically on your screens. So then
Like on the tops.
on the top. So
That's
then
really
on the
cool.
top, from they read it from one side to the other, is the initiative order after the round. So everyone knows when they're up, when the creatures are up. So then before, the only thing you have to prep card-wise is your monsters or whatever they're fighting.
Yeah.
And then on the back, they put all their stats. They put
That's super smart.
their AC, they put like all their passive perception, they put all of their stats that you need to know quickly on the back, so you only can see them.
That's super
Genius.
smart because that's one of my biggest struggles is keeping track of everything.
It takes 10 minutes of prep.
Yeah.
And you then have all the stats readily available to you, so you can focus
'Cause
on
I
the
use,
action
like,
and the drama.
Post-it notes on my on like the inside of my DM screen is just too much.
It's going to be too much.
Yeah.
Just do.
That's super smart.
Boom.
That's super smart. Now I'm all hyped. No, I just want to go back to my room. I'm doing this tonight.
And then everyone knows the
Knows-
order.
yeah, so you don't have to
Everyone
keep
knows who they're
reminding
supposed to
people.
go behind.
Yeah.
Everyone knows when the creature's going to go. And if the creature is nasty, then everyone can prep accordingly, and no one will forget when the thing's going to come up, so no one's like, oh, well, I just moved right next to it, right before it recharges its cone breath weapon. Like, stuff like that's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
That's super smart.
Wow.
That's
super
super smart.
Boom. We should do that.
Like I feel like my whole
should-
world.
we should play
has just
D&D
shat-
right now.
Yeah,
Here we
let's
go.
Okay. Live on Crit Happens.
That'd be fun.
That's super smart.
Yeah. So,
Just
like,
blew my mind.
so when I run the one shot, that's what I'll do.
It's so cool.
Do we have a tentative date for this one shot?
After the fencing season.
Totally fair.
That's a sport.
Hey. how you doing?
Anyway,
We're moving on
Yep.
from
we're
that.
just gonna keep going.
But yes, I will run a one shot for you guys. It will be the Temple of the Gleaming Sands that I've discussed once before, and I think that VOD's been deleted, so
No, I have it.
Was that the one with Jackie Chan?
that is the
Yes,
one from my
okay.
Jackie Chan
All
Adventures
right.
campaign.
Yeah, I have that. That's on the computer.
You will also have to prep evil characters.
Evil characters.
Ooh.
Yes, it's going to be an evil run. You're going to be a member of basically a group of archaeologists slash like grave digger, like grave robber rogues.
Oh,
But you don't
sick.
have to be rogues, but you're basically all members of this like grave robbing bandit
super
desert thing, and the whole campaign will start. I don't mind saying it. You start in like a flapping tent during a sandstorm, and the leader of the group is the guy who tasks you on your mission, and one person, because you get randomly assigned secret goals and secret missions for the one shot, will one person's role will be the leader of the group. So their secret mission is to get the artifact that you need to get, which I won't spoil. You need to get the artifact that you need to get out of the temple, and if you do that, you advance in the bandit, like you advance in the leadership position. You take over for the guy who tasks you on the mission, and there's a whole race and a whole tons of elements, and it's really, really fun. And I've run it 2, 3, 4 times, and everyone seems to have a good time with it. But it's real, and it's something where I encourage PC combat. Like, I encourage it.
Ooh.
So
Oh, no.
everyone has their
I'm
own
gonna
aims.
annihilate
I roll
everyone.
so low.
Someone will have the betrayer card as their secret mission, and if you're left one-on-one
You have to
you
betray.
have to betray them.
That's awesome.
So it's like stuff like that where, like, I had a magic carpet that someone found in the temple, and they were flying back. The mission was over, and the 2 survivors were on the magic carpet 60, 70, 80 feet in the air, and he just kicked them off. And the guy right into the sand, dead. And he flew the carpet back, won the campaign, won the one shot.
That's so,
So
cool.
That's fun.
McNellis, do you want to play with us all the time?
I'm in a game right now.
No.
But the game is great. Greg, if you're listening, I love you to death. It's a Strahd campaign, which I haven't run at all, any Ravenloft anything, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm playing my priest character that I talked about last time. That the priest character that is a life cleric, but in reality is the betrothed domain cleric that I made up. But yes, I would be very interested in regularly doing a campaign with you guys. The question is what I would be doing. Would I be DMing it? I don't know. That feels like a lot.
You don't have to DM.
You don't have to DM, but we're
You can.
graduating.
I can DM, and then you can criticize me every game.
Crit happens.
I don't do that. And if my
Rules lawyer.
all I do is I sit next to the DM. I always sit next to the DM, and I offer my 2 cents when they're like, "What's the rule with this?" And I'm like, "Well, it could be this." But ultimately, I know everything is at the DM's discretion. So I'm really not a rules lawyer type player. I am very much I stay in character player, and a player who's, no matter what they're doing, it's a decision you can see the character making. So I played a legendary character called Baxter Florio. Baxter Florio. He was like the rich, hoity-toity, idiot character, which I loved.
Oh, like Trump.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
God, I thought we would get through this without a Trumpster reference. But
I'm looking at
Trumpster
it
the
right now.
dumpster.
yeah. But anyway, there's a ghost now walking by us. as you can see.
That's alright.
All right. Anyway, but Baxter Florio was a character where even in combat, right? I wrote in his character flaws, he will do anything to look heroic, to appear heroic.
Ooh, okay.
So, like, there was a legendary combat for him where we just got done with a combat encounter at the end of the previous week's session. We're doing this amazing crawl. Our DM was incredible. Mickey was an absolutely incredible DM. He designed this whole dungeon layout. And we turn a corner, and there's an entire hallway filled with enemies, and everyone is low HP, including Baxter. And so I looked at everybody, and I said, "Go on without me. Like, I'll make the sacrifice. Like, I'll just fight them until I die."
Oh my god.
And that literally inspired, not like D&D inspired. Literally was inspirational enough that everyone just stayed and fought with me, and we won. Like, surprise to the DM. The DM was like throwing a deadly encounter at us, basically,
Yeah.
at low health. And we survived, including an enemy that exploded, and that was part of the overall campaign arc, and our DM was great with everything. But it's like, you could totally see, even in combat, that was a move that the character would make, and everything I do as a player is fitting for advancing the character. And I'm making moves and RP choices and combat choices. Like, my priest has 1 damage dealing spell as a cleric. Has 1, Guiding Bolt, because it's too good not to have. But the moments where he brings it out, like, you could, like, IRP, you can feel the rage that he has. It's so seldom and so rare.
Right.
So then when he uses a Guiding Bolt, it was like, oh shit. Like, the only time I'll ever deal damage to anybody is, like, I grasp my walking cane and I bonk him on the head, like, for non-lethal damage. Like,
Yeah.
that's the only time he ever, like, deals damage to anyone. So
Wow, that's really cool. As someone who's made like a lot of really interesting characters, how do you come up with like those little quirks?
Well, you could actually roll a dice. They have quirk
Yeah.
tables that you could roll dice on if you're really, really struggling.
Right.
But do something. I think Sam Riegel could take a note from this in his new character that he's playing in the new Critical Role campaign, which I encourage everyone to watch.
Sam, if you're listening,
Yeah, Sam, if you're listening, I love you. It's fine.
get a pencil.
Sam Riegel chose to play a goblin woman rogue.
Yeah.
And that on the surface isn't that crazy of a choice. But his voice was like this, and that is the voice of the... And he hates doing the voice already. So I pick characters that I can either evolve,
Right.
have a character that I could have evolve over time. So Baxter Florio became this much less arrogant character over time because he just kept getting destroyed. Like he would like go into all these things and try to do all these heroic things, and he would always fail miserably. Fail not on purpose, but the dice just wouldn't work for him. So like his famous introduction to the party was, I had 3 cards, and it's this trick I made up because I took him as a human variant level 1, and I wanted him to be like, oh, I had magic schooling, and I was a spoiled kid, but I never really paid attention. So I took the magic initiate feat
Okay.
at variant human level 1, which gave me 2 cantrips and a level 1 spell. He was a fighter primarily, so his dex was super high. So my level 1 spell that I took was mage armor, because his dex is already crazy high. His mage armor running all the time made him really hard to hit.
Right.
And what was I going to say? That was a character choice that I made, and he took cantrips. He knew cantrips as well. So it was this really interesting level 1 type of character where everything was connected to his backstory. Everything is connected to what I wanted to do with the character. Just play a character that you want to either really like and really going to enjoy playing, or a character you want to take on a journey, like kind of like a Breaking Bad journey, where you're going to have a completely different character at the end of the campaign than you had at the start.
Interesting. All right.
What kind of class do you want to play?
Me? I don't know. I know so
I don't know is the
little.
wrong answer.
I know
Yeah.
so little. I played a rogue badly.
You want to be a caster?
I was trying to avoid being a caster because my knowledge of D&D was and still is so rudimentary. And I'm also really slow, so when Jackie's like, pick spells, I'm like, well, I haven't read what every single
Yeah,
spell
she
in the
likes
book
to
does.
go through every single spell.
You should be a ranger, a paladin, or a
That's what I said.
or a battle master fighter.
She would be an amazing ranger, because that's how you played your rogue, was like a ranger.
I know, but it got boring. I like that. I don't know. I've sort of thrown myself into the bard corner.
Awesome, love it.
Every
Um,
time she plays, she ends up being bard.
Yeah.
I love it. One of the first characters I ever played in the state of New Jersey was a bard at a comic book store, and it was the most broken character I ever played.
Yeah, so like that's pretty fun, but I don't know. I don't think I've played enough to really grasp, the real major differences between all the characters and the different fighting
What do
styles.
you want to do with the character? Because the class determines everything.
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
It's so rude.
I mean, you don't.
I mean, I think I really like sort of, the reason I've been playing a bard is because I really like sort of creative solutions. So like, I really like the idea of just like useless spells that come in handy. For instance, in Kevin's campaign, we were fighting against goblins, and I cast Stink Cloud, and it made like 2 of them critically failed, so they vomited and fell out of the tree. And I was like, that's amazing. I wish that every time I casted like a crazy spell, it just happened to work out super well. So I like that idea. Now I'm playing a druid, so I like the idea of, so I have this sort of background where I have this background where I'm an Eladrin, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Eladrin, high elf, basically.
Yeah. So for every season, I have a different go-to animal that I shape into.
Love it.
And voice and personality.
And voice and personality.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
Thank you.
It's
So
really cool.
I'm just trying. I don't know. So like, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do, but I really like just like.
I
the
have a way to make that
flexibility.
character a little more flexible and
Okay.
to really fit your theme.
Okay.
So there's a path for monks called Way of the Elements,
Okay.
where you get to learn different get like elemental abilities.
Okay.
So then if you took a couple levels of that where you could, start branching off and picking different elemental controlling factors,
Yeah.
then basically you could have, when you're in your winter form, you have your ice
Oh, cool.
elemental aspects.
Okay.
And then when you're in the spring, you could have the air ones and
Right.
so
That's
on.
super cool.
So like you could just take, it's like Path of the Elements, Way of the Elements or something. It's a monk thing, so it's a way of the elements, I think it's called. You basically become like Kamehameha, like you can do stuff like that.
That's awesome. I'm gonna low key write that down. Yeah. So I just sort of like the flexibility, but like I said, I've probably played like, I don't know, 11 games or sessions in total of D&D.
Yeah, but when you say how many, like, think about how many hours that is playing
It's a lot.
D&D.
It's
That's
like
a lot.
22 hours.
That's way more than
It's like
22 hours.
Critical Role
it's
had-
probably like 44 hours, but I don't know.
Critical Role had 100 episodes, and they produced more hours of content than The Simpsons.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I'm also like super slow and super meticulous, so I like to do research on it. So like if I'm thinking about a new character, I don't know, I focus around like a common theme. So like for a long time I was thinking about being like an old woman necromancer who's like really strict and then has like a lot of, I don't know, a lot of her spells are like vampiric touch and like all that stuff, and I don't know. I have
That's cool.
I'd love to like think of themes. It's a whole process. I'm too slow to just tell you.
The
what
priest
comes down
character
my
I
head.
have is an old man, and I'm telling you, playing old man or old woman characters is so satisfying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goose says, "Tell McNelly I want in."
One in for what, Goose?
I'm guessing the one-off.
Oh,
Boo.
the one shot.
You're not invited.
Oh shit!
Bum, 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 burn.
Sorry, Goose.
Do you have that button? You should get that button.
We should get a soundboard.
Yes.
Wow.
Reggaeton.
I mean, I'm on
Air
the
horn.
board, so I can make that happen.
Reggaeton air horn.
Mhm.
The Price is Right losing sound.
Yeah.
Maybe the Price is Right yodeler sound. The
Good.
yodeler background.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, you're on. Yeah, we're good. No, but God, the yodeler took me off. I don't know where we were talking about.
I don't remember either.
We were
Characters
talking about
and
building
classes.
characters.
Oh,
and
classes. Okay, yeah.
What is your favorite class? Oh, a different question. What do you think, which class do you think is the weakest in comparison to the others? Like,
Philosophy 101.
Snap.
that was the worst class. That was the worst class.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric Anderson.
He's lovely.
You're
My-
a lovely man. Terrible class.
My intro to philosophy class, one of the most interesting ones, because all we learned about was it was a logic class. They called it. They called it a logic class. So we learned all about logical fallacies and like how to spot logical fallacies, how to interact with people who constantly use logical fallacies. It was amazing.
Wow, we just read Gilgamesh in my philosophy class.
Gilgamesh.
Wow. that's
Shout outs
a
to Gilgamesh.
Awesome.
Gilgamesh
awesome
and Enkidu.
fable.
So that's fun.
But okay, we're talking about, the question was, I believe, what is the most underpowered class currently?
Yeah, in your opinion.
Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts on it first. I want to hear your thoughts.
Underpowered.
Underpowered.
Ay.
I could tell you.
I want to say like rogue.
Okay, what kind of rogue?
Yeah,
Because there's two different.
Yeah,
Good.
well, assassin's
Assassin
great.
rogue
I'm
is
talking
super
like
rogue.
swashbuckler.
I've played with someone who played a swashbuckler. It's okay. It's not that bad.
What about Arcane Trickster Bard?
Okay, Arcane Trickster is a rogue subclass.
Oh,
rogue.
So
Thank you. I was like, it's one of the ones I was going to be, but wasn't.
I know someone. I mean, I know people who play most of the classes. Swashbuckler, admittedly, is a bit underpowered. I would agree with you there.
I have
And
a swashbuckler rogue at the moment. I'm like, eh.
yeah, but the whole point is an Arcane Trickster rogue. It's like, do I want to be good at casting spells or good at being a rogue? I'm kind of getting middle of the road here with both. Before Unearthed Arcana, before Zenithard's Guide to Everything, by far, the most underpowered class was Beastmaster Druid.
Really?
Because Beastmaster Druid didn't have you, like your animal, you either did something with your animal or did something on your turn. You couldn't do both. So it was
Do
basically...
you mean Ranger?
Yes, I mean Ranger.
I was gonna say, 'cause
Beastmaster
it-
Ranger.
yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Beastmaster Ranger, not Beastmaster Druid. Beastmaster Ranger was so unbelievably terrible.
absolutely terrible.
Because you know the whole point of taking that class is you get to have a turn for your animal and a turn for you. Like that's the whole point of it. You have an animal companion who listens to orders. You send them off to do something. The animal movement, as written in 5e for Beastmaster Ranger, was the animal's movement in combat counts as your total movement for your turn.
Whoa.
So you could only send your dog at somebody, and that was your turn. Like you couldn't move anywhere. You were locked in, and it was super dumb. You couldn't even shoot your arrow and attack something with your dog or whatever your animal companion was.
And you were just an okay ranger.
Yeah.
Instead of being really good and having an animal companion, you were subpar and you had an okay animal companion.
It was really
Yeah,
bad.
it's really bad.
So you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Beastmaster Ranger, and I don't like the sorcerer class.
Sorcerer players are annoying.
Okay, I hear
Yeah.
that. I hear that sorcerers are not out of the class, like the basic classes. They're not very good. Why is that?
Sorcerers are the last remnants of older editions of D&D. So meta magic, the like twinning a spell, which is all the like sorcerer goodness. Twinning a spell, like basically you can cast Witch Bolt with two hands, one
Oh,
like
wow.
unlimited power at two different people, right?
Yeah.
But other than like, you want to know what sorcerer players are like? All right, R.I.P. Orion Akaba. That is
Yes.
what sorcerer players are like. Their turns last forever. They really don't.
Was he playing a sorcerer? Was
Tiberius Stormwind was a sorcerer. He had sorcery points. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there for like 5 minutes, so it was forever ago, so I don't
Yeah.
remember.
So Orion is the oft forgotten member of Critical Role, who basically, I'm saying basically a lot, but his turns would take forever. He railroaded the group. Even during boss fights, he would do his own thing. They famously fought that Beholder, and he was like recruiting
Yeah.
illithids outside of the temple.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that
I
was
need
like.
to watch Critical Role.
Yeah. They just started a new campaign.
Yeah, you should watch the new campaign. They started at session 1. There's only been 3. You should
yeah,
watch it.
Today's the
They're like
today
4
the
hours
4th
long, aren't
episode
they?
is airing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're super good though. They're
Yeah.
like super easy to bang
Are they
out.
on?
YouTube.
They're all on
Are they
YouTube.
On anything else?
No.
than
Well,
come
they're on
guys.
They're on
something
Twitch. Are you
Yeah, can
on
you
Twitch.
download?
But
like,
they're
off
not on-
Twitch?
are you subscribed to their channel?
If I am, can I?
If you're subscribed to their channel, you can. What I do is I always watch live, but then I'll pause or whatever. But because I'm a subscriber, I can just pause the live thing and I can press play again and it resumes. Or I could, I got to Critical Role an hour late. I can go to the instant VOD that they post on their page, and you can start it right at the beginning of their broadcast.
Oh.
So it's one of the, in my opinion, most worth subscriptions on Twitch, purely for the Critical Role content that you get out of it and the flexibility and ease of use of their
But
content.
to answer your question, they don't have it on like something like Spotify where you can just listen on your phone. Because I love listening to Critical Role, but there are some points where you get more out of watching it. Because when Matt makes these awesome maps,
Right.
when they're doing combat, and it's a lot better to watch it than listen to it.
Do you know what Dwarven Forge is?
No.
Dwarven Forge
So
is the
cool.
most expensive and most cool
Yeah.
D&D combat play sets ever.
They have
And
everything.
they build them specifically for Matt. Matt hasn't paid for anything that he's done in a
Lucky
long
bastard.
time. To be fair, he's the best DM I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like, not even close.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the Force Grey campaign.
Force Grey's so funny.
It's so good.
Yeah, Will Wheaton?
Yes.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
We talk-
Rip Sandwich Boy.
Yeah. But yes, that's the most underpowered. The most overpowered is debatable. I think life clerics are really. If you have a life cleric in your group, how do you TPK?
Yeah.
I really don't understand it.
And life cleric.
And to be honest with you, if you want to talk overpowered, what makes the life cleric truly overpowered is you take the healer feat. So there's something that's lesser known in D&D called the healer feat, and it healers medicine kits. So
Yeah.
I have one on my priest right now, and in combat as an action, I can go up to someone, and it's touch range to be fair, but that's just to keep it from being super busted. I can instantly heal them 1d6 plus their level plus my spellcasting ability modifier.
Wow.
And I can do that once per day. And per healer's kit, and I have 20 currently on me, you can get 10 uses out of it. So basically, without casting spells, you can keep everybody alive constantly all the time. And as long as you take a character with super high AC, my character wears scale mail, I really can't get hit that. It's really hard to hit me. So I just walk around casually like in combat, and there's people all around. I'm like, man, you're fine. Yeah, you're okay. And just keep bringing up people and like giving them pep talks as an elderly man, like, get up, you.
That's awesome.
That's great.
You have to come play with us, Brendan. You have to do it.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do.
And now Kevin Cho.
I want
How
to
does
play
this sound?
D&D with Kevin Cho.
That's not gonna happen.
I know.
You should
Um,
make a Kevin Show character.
The second that any one of my podcasts I've done with you winds up on the internet where I can readily share it, I will play D&D with you.
Send me an episode
You
with him in
literally
it.
have-
With him in it.
You have stuff on the Google Drive.
I have stuff singular.
There's things on there. I don't know what's there.
Thing.
Oh,
Thing.
my computer exploded. I don't know if I have them anymore. They might be on that one.
Bam, bam,
More
bam.
importantly,
What?
when
What?
when Jackie and I move to California, are you gonna Skype D&D sessions in with us?
I don't know how much time we have left. I probably don't have enough time to talk about how I feel about D&D over Skype.
That's-
We have literally till whenever we end
Well, he has to wake up at 5 a.m.
to play
True.
basketball with
basketball.
my best friend. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Here's what I'll keep it short and brief. D&D is so much about the experience at
Yes.
the table, and it's a social game. Do I understand that people live far apart and they care about each other and they want to be in campaigns together? Absolutely. But me, myself, I pretty much, with one exception, I think, in one of the first campaigns I ever ran, I don't allow it. Or
Don't like
don't
it either.
participate. I don't participate in campaigns that are like that.
That's fair.
It's too much. I did a Roll20 thing with Kevin Fisher. Cam was in it, and then Richard. And it was so, and there's no cameras in Roll20, and it was so hard to play because I lost so much. You lose so much just in like facial
Absolutely.
expressions, and like you can do spontaneous plans with players at the table by looking and being like,
Yep.
and just like
Jackie's
no one has no
smiling and
idea what
nodding,
no one has
by the
no
way.
any idea what I'm saying because it's the
Radio
same
show.
thing. Like that's why like I like listening to Critical Role, but I like watching it as well. What were you gonna say, Nicholas? Sorry, I cut you off.
Check it out. We fly out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, we just
Once a
go-
week.
Yeah.
we go to once a week. Yeah. No, we fly out there and just do a mega session.
Look, if I
Ooh.
had bitcoins to spend on plane tickets,
I
would,
don't know what you're talking about.
I would pay for you guys to
Cut
come
this
out to
part. Cut this
California.
part. Cut this part right now.
Hashtag
Cut
moats.
it. Cut it.
Cut the mood.
Cut it.
Yeah, no, I think Roll20 is like a cool concept, and I think it's cool. It's really nice to build like maps and stuff on Roll20 because it's super easy. But when it comes to actually playing, I hated it, and I only did it once, so I also am just
Yeah.
biased. But I don't like it. Plus, you can get stuck playing with like 10-year-olds that are just trolls.
Yeah. I played
10-year-old troll's the worst kind.
Yes,
played on Tabletop Simulator.
I hate tabletop
Tabletop
simulator.
Simulator.
I am not a fan.
It's terrible. I bought it and then I returned it.
Wow. Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't returned it.
Tabletop Simulator. Oh, is that the
It's-
one where you
it's
can
on-
flip the chessboard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's-
can
it's
flip
on
any
s-
board.
it's
You can
10
flip the DM table.
When
and
it's on
just
sale, it's $10 on
everything.
Steam, and they have like checkers, chess. They have a bunch of stuff, and then they have a D&D board. But everything is. You've played like Skyrim, right? So you know how like if you pick up an object, it like flips around upside down. That's tabletop simulator, so you can move things on the board. But it just like it's so easy to get everything knocked over, and you can put up walls, but they don't stay. It's a
You
pain in
can
the ass.
lock
I hate
them,
it.
But it's just, I played a very short little one-off thing that didn't finish because it was stupid. But it was so infuriating.
Yeah.
It was the worst
Evan, if
thing
you're
ever.
listening, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer that minis make the game better.
I want to get
And
minis.
combat maps and minis make the game better. Like, I have a slowly building mini collection, and one of the best things, I'm going to do a quick plug for Pathfinder minis. So there are Pathfinder boxes you can get where there are all these punchable out monsters, and it comes with like 100 stands. So then I pretty much got a box for $49.99, and it has every single monster in the monster manual as 2D like pop-outable things, and their mats they sit on are their actual, if it was 5-foot squares, their size that they would take up if it was a full mini.
Whoa.
So like you can save yourself tons and tons of time and money by just getting one of those boxes and get one. I have one for the monsters, and I'm slowly building up actual mini collection because one of my DM Mickey is an absolute insane painter of minis. If you just get a $19.99, $18.99 weighted, nice looking mini, he'll paint it for you for free, and it'll be professionally done. I wish I had the one he just painted my priest character, and it looks incredible. So I'm very lucky.
Quick side thing. How do you feel about custom minis?
In what sense?
Like, do you think yes?
Like Hero
advocate
Forge?
for
Are you talking about Hero
yeah,
Forge?
Yeah.
I want to get one so bad.
I know
Like-
someone that got one, yeah.
So
If your character dies.
well, there's in comparison, they're pretty cheap for customizing your own miniature based on your actual character. So like, if you're like I've played like 8 sessions with Cadfael, who's my druid, and I want to get him as a mini, even though I might not play him anymore because I'm just so attached to him, and especially like my first character, Gawain, who's a ranger. Want to get him as a mini. He's like kind of looks like a little mini Jesus, and with a bow. I think they're super super cool.
Oh, I
think
agree.
they're
They're
super cool.
But man,
And they're for how much they are, that like even if you die, they'll have like a little, because you can use that character again in a different game.
right? Yeah.
So,
Please.
Brendan, do you reuse characters that die, or do you just make a new character every single time?
So the priest character that I'm playing right now is a character I designed for one of my players in one of my first campaigns. But no, I don't tend to reuse characters because I've never played the same type of character, really, even relatively close, ever. I've played Lore Bard, Battlemaster Fighter, a Stoner Hippie Druid.
Did he get the pamphlet?
No, he didn't.
Reasons.
What was the other really? Oh, Rogue Warlock, which is actually the highest level character I've ever played. He's a level 10 Rogue Warlock. Which I actually I had grandiose plans for, but basically if you combine Monk, Shadow Monk, Variant Human, Warlock, and Rogue, you can become one with the shadows. So you use the Warlock to get Devil's Sense, so you get improved dark vision. You're a human, so you need to take a certain number of feats. But if you combine a Shadow Monk's ability to, if you're in a shadow, you can float anywhere in the shadow and reappear out of as long as you're part of that same shadow segment.
Yeah.
But you take Warlock, so not only do you get Devil's Sight as one of your passive running things, you're a human, so you don't have naturally dark vision.
Yeah.
But you take it so that you get an extra casting of darkness. You cast darkness in the room that you're in.
That's so cheap.
And then you fade into the shadows of the entire room. And when you're the rogue, and
that's so cheap.
you come out of the shadow, you get surprised, and you also get advantage because of the Shadow Monk. You get advantage when you come out of the shadows when you do your ability, so you get sneak attack damage.
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
Very nice.
And all that took was a little research and like, do these things work together? And someone wrote me back like, yeah, I think that actually would work. And I played it, and it's super awesome.
Oh my God.
That's super cool. That's super cool. Okay, we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions or want to wrap anything up before
No,
I?
I just want McNellis to make me a character now.
I'll make your character.
Old G.
You
I
don't
want-
have to do that.
Kevin Cho to come to the one shot.
Nope.
I want to make a Kevin Cho character named.
That'd be
Kevin
super
Cho.
easy.
He would be.
You'd be a monk.
You'd be a monk. Okay, there you go. He'd be a monk.
Would he be
start
a monk?
start
though?
making stats.
Would he be a monk?
Why
I
would
A
he
monk
be
or
Jackie?
I know what he'd be. Lawful neutral paladin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Paladin for Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's better.
And you can do the voice and
Lawful
everything,
neutral.
Jackie.
Lawful neutral.
I feel like
Anna, what are you talking about?
I just feel like if Kevin played a game with us, he'd be like, "What do you mean I can't parry riposte?" If he's coming
was
at
gonna
me,
say-
I would obviously know that would happen.
Battlemaster Fighter would him be good too, because you could also learn parry and riposte
Yeah.
as a Battlemaster
There
Fighter.
you go. His, how often does he train his footwork?
I have one
Really
last
knows
question for you, Brendan. I'm thinking about starting my campaign at level 10.
Jesus.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I think my okay said enough of how I feel about that.
Okay.
I'm very hesitant.
Okay.
Why do you want to start them at 10? I'm curious.
Because I want to put in some,
Badass enemies for them.
yeah, and I don't want to just kill them.
Are these veteran players?
They would be. They wouldn't be newbies.
I'm warming up to the idea.
Nick, that's dumb. All right.
How many 10 level 10 and above campaigns, high level D&D campaigns have you run?
I've just.
He's
I've
never
not
run
Run
before.
a campaign.
You've never run a single one.
0 campaigns.
I think
Zero
we're
D&Ds.
0 dins.
I think we're putting the cart before the horse here.
Okay.
DOD.
I think you need to be able to walk before you can sprint and
And fly.
and fly. If you have any druids in your
fly.
party, they'll instantly be able to turn into any flying animal. So
And-
Or
any,
elementals.
Yeah.
Elementals are at level 10.
I'm
And-
planning on putting a
and-
lock on the city.
any environmental hazards you throw at them, they'll be able to surpass instantly. So
Okay.
if you ever do a dungeon where they have to leap over pits or whatever, it's not going to be an issue. If you what enemies do you really want to throw at them?
I gotta look back. in the
Beholder.
book. There's a beholder somewhere
Mm.
in there. I think in an abandoned harbor area that's been collapsed in.
Cool.
And I think the last creature. So in the middle of this city, there's this massive clock tower, which I got from Russia's last
Peter
album,
Pan.
Clockwork Angels.
Cool.
So it's that type of clock tower, and one side of the clock is just blown out, and there's this purple energy coming out. And I just want a lich to be up there opening a portal to
Jay
the-
chillin'.
Yeah, just Jay chilling up there, with a portal open to God knows what, and all this crap has happened to this city.
Cool.
Yeah, but I don't want players at level 3 hey, here we go, time to die. First step on the tower.
So I had a rudimentary, one of my first outlines for a campaign I ever did. I storyboarded it. It was 1 through 5 was an adult dragon as the boss. 5 through 10 was the ancient dragon, so the relative or the mother or the eternal, whatever. 15 was a lich, so 10 to 15 would be the lich part. And then 15 to 20 is the Draco Lich. So the lich reses the adult dragon from 10, and then that is the enemy, everything combined for the last boss
You're
fight.
talking about a Dracolich?
Yeah.
What level should you be when fighting Dracolich?
You should be at least level
Jackie.
15.
What the
And have a party of 4 to 5.
Jackie, what did you put in your campaign?
No, I
Okay.
didn't put anything in my campaign. It was a campaign I was in. We were level 6s, and then we found a Dracolich.
You just found it?
Yeah,
And how did that go?
we turned around and hightailed our asses out of there because we're
That's an appropriate response.
this is not a good idea. And then our DM got super angry at us.
That's a DM who's selfish. That's a DM who I read the monster manual and I love Draco Liches, so let's just ham fist this Draco Lich into their story.
For those of you who obviously can't see this, McNellis just did the best hand signals I think I've ever seen.
Yes,
That's sign
Or-
language, though.
For ham fisting.
ham fisting, right?
go.
Putting a fist in
In a ham.
in a ham,
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
But
Damn it.
look, Draco Liches, Critical Role, one of the most efficient, badass D&D player groups of all time. Balanced, no weak points, super strong, with super OP characters like Vax, okay? They were fearful that at level 16 and 17, the Green Dragon woman, it's been forever since...
I didn't get that far, so.
the Green Dragon of the group, that's one of their main enemies of the whole campaign.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
she survives, and Thordak, the red,
Yeah, the red
dies, and one of their major concerns was she's going to find a way to res him as a Draco Lich, and we legitimately can't beat that. Draco Liches are incredibly strong, especially if there's a Lich that's operating them, like kind of puppet mastering them. It's not good for anyone.
Rip.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sounds good. Yeah.
What an
Hashtag
Is that
moats.
your- is that your
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. That's like
Going
one
to
of the
Jurassic
3
Park for a
songs my
second.
dad can play on the piano.
Really?
Yeah. He just sits at the piano and he's like, "Have you ever seen the Hulk? This is what Lou Ferrigno walks away to." Thanks, Dad. It's like that, and then the Charlie Brown Christmas theme.
Oh, Charlie Brown Christmas theme is beautiful. It's one of my, actually, the only Christmas themed songs I love hearing at Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm sure it is beautiful at some point if my dad isn't playing it.
Vince Guaraldi
Oh.
is great composer.
Yeah, national treasure.
Treasure.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage.
Now that we're sufficiently derailed,
I thought this wasn't a train anymore.
this has
Crazy
been
train.
the
And now we've come full circle.
the first of. Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done?
Brut. He's got brut.
I'm the scat man.
This has been a semi-successful
Semi-successful
Good.
session of Critical Role. No.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Cut,
how
cut,
it's
just
gone
cut right now. Cut it.
downhill.
Just
Got the
cut
whole
it.
We're done.
episode.
We're
Cut
done.
it. Cut it.
We're- no,
Cut it,
we're
Anna. Cut
I
it.
fucked up. Okay, this has been Crit Happens.
Yeah.
Soon to
I
be on
think-
YouTube.
Soon to be Critical Role.
Nicholas, are you going to put this on YouTube if I send it to you tonight?
Yes.
If I go in that room and I export
will
it and I send
sit
it.
in your dorm and do it.
You
Okay.
should do that. You should bring snacks.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brendan, for coming.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
my pleasure.
And you're always welcome and invited back at the same time, same place. You know the drill.
Same bat channel.
Save that chair.
This has been Critical
all,
Roll.
all it takes.
Swarm
Swarm of bats. That's all it
Critical
takes.
Role.
trademark.
Former bats.
They stole it from us. No, it's fine. See everyone next week at 7:30. This has been WMNJ Radio. Thank you for listening.